In today's episode, we're going to revisit an old question that still keeps popping up today. How do you determine what to say yes to? So keep it right here and enjoy looking back on one of our earliest episodes.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performance Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome back. In today's episode, we will be answering your questions.
This question of the day comes in from Diane from Ann Arbor. And Diane writes, she's heard you talk about taking your commitments very seriously and only saying yes to things once you've given it some real thought. And she's having trouble deciding how to know what to say yes to, what to say no to, and just in general, how to go about the decision-making process.
Great question. This comes up a lot with my clients. And I'll tell you this, what a lot of people do is they follow the crowd or what other people are doing. And in a lot of times, that's not the action that you want to take or the direction that you want to take. Here's how I do it, and here's how most peak performers do it. First is we have an inner standard. We have an inner compass. We have a guideline in which we make decisions. I'll give you a great example. After my divorce, I found myself single, and I found the process of who I wanted to date and who I didn't want to date kind of confusing. And I think a lot of people enter into that area and go, okay, what does he or she look like? I want chemistry. And I kept hearing that word chemistry. And I said, I want to get some idea of how do I break that down so I'm not going through kind of a trial and error. And I thought about it and I said, what's important to me in a person? And I said, you know what? I came up with 6 I's. Call them the 6 I's. The first one is identity. Second one is interest. Third one, eye candy. I know it's an E, but eye candy. These are in no particular order. Intimacy, intellect, and the last one is invisible, just kind of that gut feeling. So very quickly, as soon as I came up with this, I could very quickly go through, okay, is this someone I could see myself with long term? Are they intelligent enough? What are their interests? She has to have her interests, I have to have my interests, but at some point we have to have shared interest, of course. As soon as I put that together, it made the process very easy because I go out on a date or two and I'm like, you know what? Our interests really aren't aligned here. What her identity is showing up, and again, that one takes a little bit longer, is not the type of individual that it's going to be a good fit for me long term. So without that, it was kind of a trial and error. And quite frankly, what do most guys lean towards if they don't have any guidelines?
The eye candy.
Exactly.
Did you feel pressure to go that way initially?
Well, I didn't have any of a guideline or anything else to go by, you know?
Yeah, so you talked to yourself. You consulted with yourself.
I stepped back and I said, there's got to be a better way of doing this.
You've talked about that before, about having an inner dialogue that pushes you in your own direction, because that's what peak performers do. They forge their own path. Absolutely.
This way we can make decisions quickly. You don't want to spend 50 dates trying to figure out, is this a good fit for you?
Right.
So, and again, it wasn't like, black and white, check the box or something, but it gave me the guidelines that very quickly allowed me to move through that process. And this needs to be a written process. And again, I'm just not talking about dating here, is you've got to have a set of standards of what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, where you're going. You got to be focused on whether this action is going to move you closer to goals or further away from your goals. The ultimate success map. That's what I use all the time. I go through that system. What do I want? What do I need? What's an effective plan to get there? It's got to be quantifiable is another aspect of it. How do I say yes and no to things? Is it moving me closer to my goals? And do I have these inner dialogues that I have standards for, and this is the way I proceed in life?
And really, you could make like a 6 I's. Your 6 I's was specific to relationships, but you could make a 6 I's for anything.
You should.
What
Absolutely.
Business to purchase, what weight loss program to choose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, there's many paths to success. Okay, there's just not one path. But you've got to make sure that this path is going to get you to where you want to go. Too often, people spend too much time doing things that aren't moving them in the right direction. And the reason they don't know that in many cases is because they have no inner standards.
No inner set of guidelines. And they commit too early. They commit before they've decided if they even can do that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Question of the day. Where in your life are you missing the standards, the guidelines? Call to action. Figure out what those standards, those guidelines, that inner map, quantify it, write that down, and use that in the decision-making process. Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter @ThorConklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.